Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our political insider. Liberals are panicking as President Trump could flip the uber-liberal Ninth Circuit Court with 4 vacancies to fill. It's gotten so bad, Senator Barbara Boxer has called this a judicial emergency. Donald Trump is picking China critic Robert Lightizer as U.S. Trade Representative. It's not sitting well with our friends in China. But first, has George Soros destroyed the Democrat Party? Maury, George Soros made it his mission in life in 2004 to destroy George W. Bush. He basically took over the Democrat Party with change that he found in his sofa. MoveOn.org, Media Matters, Black Lives Matter, Occupy, all these groups that have taken over. And the Democrat Party is beholden to him and to those groups. And I think, much to their chagrin, I think he may have destroyed the Democrat Party. What do you say?
I agree with you in the end result. The basic key point happened in 2008 when Obama and Hillary were tilting for the nomination. And 6 weeks before the Democratic convention, Hillary said the Michigan and the Texas delegations were up for grabs. If she was able to get those 2 delegations, she would have been the nominee of the party. And George Soros, the Hungarian Jew who came here and has done everything to try to destroy the best of America, I think that he is one of the worst human beings we've ever had to face in this country. Anyway, he said...
He's been an evil everywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, he and his father focused on Jews in Hungary who had the money and gave it to the local Nazis, and they killed these people, threw them into the Danube River, and took all their money. And he was bragging about it when he had a CBS interview on this subject. But the point was, the deal that was cut was that he said, look, let's have Obama get 8 years, and then Hillary, you'll have 8 years after that, and I will finance both of you very aptly. And that's exactly what his plan was. What went awry was that Obama kind of got out of hand and created the situation that metastasized into November 8th,
which allowed
2016.
a Donald Trump to rise to the top.
He didn't count on a Donald Trump. He just saw the typical Republican sellout, like the McConnells, and even at the time
the McCains,
the Ryans,
the
and
Romneys,
others.
the Ryans.
Yeah, exactly. So he figured he could handle them, but he didn't know he was going to be up against a guy like Trump, who can play the game just as well as Soros can. So the thing is, you're absolutely right. This man is a danger to this country. He probably has, what he has done is probably true. He has weakened the Democratic Party to the point where they are not really a political party today. They're fighting among each other. There isn't anybody there that if Trump does a halfway decent job, he will have 8 years, because there's nobody they're going to groom between now. The Democrats are going to groom somebody between now and the second term of Trump.
And the Democrat Party in the last 8 years has lost more governorships, more Senate seats, more House seats. Up and down the line, they've lost over 1,000 seats nationwide.
State legislatures.
Up and down, yes. since 2008. Yeah. They've been decimated, basically. And I believe that they have him to blame for all this.
Oh, absolutely. And this guy has, and it continues to be, and they're still catering to the guy, and still, I know organizations, liberal organizations, that still think he's a wonderful guy, and he contributes $1 million here and $1 million there. The man is as evil as any human being that ever lived here in the United States.
And you'd have to look at it, and you'd have to say, with some introspect, that it hasn't been working, that we need to change something. But I don't think, based on the fact that they want Keith Ellison as DNC chair, and based on the fact that they continue to put forth these ideas of Michelle Obama running, and I just don't think they've even got a clue as to what just happened.
You're absolutely right. I've never seen the Democratic Party so totally out of control and so weak. And not knowing what they can do. That's one of the reasons why they're thrashing out in all directions, and that's why Obama is allowed to do what he's doing. If you had a strong Democratic Party, and you say, wait a second, Israel's our ally, you're trying to destroy this little country just because you're angry at the guy that's the prime minister. This doesn't make any sense. He has made Soros has made more enemies for the Democratic Party than any other individual.
So in buying the big donkey, he's basically killed the big donkey, in my mind.
Exactly. I don't see anything in the Democratic Party other than people or papers like the Washington Post and generally the media who continues to play the game of support. I will predict that you may see a change in that because the media, they have no sense of values of anything at all other than...
And they've lost all credibility.
Yeah, they lost credibility. So the thing is that, you know, the New York Times is actually renting out rooms in their building because they need the money so badly.
Good, maybe the UN can be next.
Hopefully.
Liberals are panicking over the fact that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, one of the most uber-liberal courts in the country, which has a lot to do with some of the laws that we end up with, could flip conservative under a President Trump. He has 4 vacancies that he can fill, plus he has control of the Senate and the House. They can filibuster to a point.
You forgot Supreme Court justices coming up.
At least one.
At least one now, but there'll be more.
Possibly.
Well, you know, when they're in the 80s.
Yeah, you don't know, but at least one for sure.
Yeah.
But to flip the Ninth Circuit Court would be a huge, huge deal for conservatives.
It'll happen.
And the right of center.
Oh, absolutely.
So his other picks that he's going to have for Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, a lot of the Betsy DeVos, education. He just picked another man, Robert Lightizer, to run the U.S. Trade Representative, and he's a very, very hawkish anti-China.
Well, China, because they're the biggest, our biggest deficit, but he's against bad trade deals. That's what he's known for.
So when I see these nominations, it tells me that he's serious. He's not in this just to play the game.
I think up to this point he's done a very fine job. Even Tillerson, well, you know, an oil man, ExxonMobil CEO, he's a tough guy. Sure, he's dealt with Putin because they had a common deal of oil in Sakhalin, which is part of the Siberian-Russian situation.
But the difference is these people have actually done things very successfully in the real world, in the business world, which the prior administration had hardly anybody that had any real
This is
world
the most
leadership.
business-friendly cabinet I've ever seen anybody have.